Muted.
Hare Krishna. My sound was not audible. Okay, so now today we are going to start the same topic, spirituality and leadership. Will continue where we had stopped our discussion yesterday. So today we'll conclude our discussion and we'll derive many important points which we can imbibe in our life and try to bring into practice. Practice is very, very important. We are here to discuss and bring these concepts in our life so that we can lead a life based on spiritual principles and become a very good personality. So I request all of you what we have discussed till now in our classes on this topic, leadership and spirituality. Can you just in 2 minutes briefly explain? Then we'll continue our this topic again. So who is going to make all the points, important points what we have discussed in last two classes? You can write in the chat box and then I'll share the lecture again. We'll continue where we had stopped yesterday. Yes, Sai, Hare Krishna, Meenakshi, Hare Krishna. So any one of you can just Brij Mohan, Isha, Piyush, Ram, Reema, Saumin. So you can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Brij Mohan, you are audible.
So, Prabhuji, I have summarized on the lecture what I have seen in my notebook. So, I am just using it to help me, and I will tell you what I have learned from. So,
yes.
So, what yesterday Prabhuji said, what I can say that leaders have an impact on society. So, they must have a spiritual framework. And then he said about three kind of leaders and power centers. These are knowledge, administrative, and wealth. And you must have purpose or aim in life, which is very important. And then Prabhuji moved towards scientific approach. He told about Einstein and great personalities, and he emphasized on grand unification theory and and how is everything created. The two questions were asked by Einstein and great scientists. First was how is everything created, and second was which Stephen Hawking asked, why is everything created? Why something exists? So after this, he moved towards the main topic, that is leadership. So he gave an example of first concept of Gita. So before leading, you must know who you are, which is very important.
Very
and
nice.
He also tells that while he was telling to Arjuna, Krishna was telling to Arjuna, after the Gita ended, he said, we can say that Krishna opens the knowledge for everybody. So we can gain enough knowledge from this kind of thing. And then at last he said, purpose of individual purpose of family, purpose of our local area, country, purpose of world, and purpose of universe. These all can be put together and aligned. This can be done using spirituality, so that the aim of all the purposes is focused. And at last he also told about the difference between religion and spirituality. And I was moved by the point he said, I am not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. That's all what I have learned and summarized. Thank you.
Very nice, very good points you have summarized, Briz. So now we'll start our lecture today. And in the end, I will request others also to present your idea, understanding on this topic. Okay, so I request everyone to kindly again sit back with copy and pen and try to make the notes what we are going to understand in today's class. Today we'll wind up this topic, leadership and spirituality. And frankly speaking, there are so many points. In fact, this one lecture can convert any atheist into a spiritual being, into an interested personality who is interested in reading Bhagavad Gita. Because our discussion started from science, what scientists are saying about the purpose of the world and how there should be a grand and universal purpose in our life. And if everybody is having different purposes, then they are going to clash. Just like Prabhu gave the example, if there is a reservoir of water, there is a lake, tranquil water, and you throw a stone, then it will create a ripple. And suppose another person is also throwing a stone, it will also create ripple. And then both the ripples are going to interfere and clash. So like that, we all are having our individual purposes and goal in life, and therefore there is a lot of clash and misunderstanding, and all conflicts are there in the society. We want to change the leadership, we want to bring about so many changes, but without changing the purpose and desire. So spirituality gives a very well defined and universal purpose, which is perfectly aligned for everyone. Everybody's purpose is perfectly aligned, and all of us can work together for one same purpose. And that's how we can have a world with harmony, peace, and happiness all over. So it's like this. There are many, many points which are very, very striking, which we can get moved by, and we can implement in our life all these points which we are going to understand. We have already understood, and we are going to understand in our future classes. So I request everyone to take a very give a serious consideration to our class, what all points you are getting. Just like in the school colleges, when we start attending the class, we are very, very serious about all the topics, yes or no, because it is going to be asked in our exam. There will be exam, there will be some quiz organized by the teachers, so it may be asked in our exam. So we are very, very careful, alert, serious, sincere. So in the same way, these topics are going to be asked at the time of death. Question will come whether you understood the purpose of life or not. Yes, then you will be saved. You know, then again suffer here in this world. So okay, I'll again now move to the lecture. So I request everyone to kindly pay attention nicely and hear it attentively. Okay.
We take all these things and accept all these things, and we don't even say thank you to God. What do you call that? Then it was clear to them. So I told them that prayer is a form of thanking God and being thankful and being grateful to God for providing all these things. And then I began to explain a little more to the parents, and they were also hearing and all of that. You see, anything you use in this world, you actually have to pay for it. I'm sure all of us have mobile phones, and every month they send us a bill, and if you don't pay the bill, a connection can get terminated. We use electricity in our homes, we use water, we have to pay the electricity bill, the water bill. You are staying in a rented house, you have to pay the rent to the landlord. You stay in a hotel, you stay for 3 nights and come out, as you walk out, they will give you a bill. For everything we use, we have to pay. But look at this. The oxygen that we are is so important for all of us. Did anyone give us an oxygen bill? Did anyone give us a solar bill to pay? Even the water bill, as I said, it's the cost of bringing the water. The cost of water is not included in that bill. So we get all of these things free. Not just that. We don't realize these things. How important gravity is for us. See, gravity is a very interesting phenomenon. It keeps all of us on the surface. If the gravity did not exist, all of us would be rising up like helium balloons. And if you have to sit on a seat, you have to buckle up, and you can't walk easily. The gravitational force is a neat thing. It brings us all, and then we can only have to worry about the horizontal movement. And it's not just that there are many. We have right amount mix of carbon dioxide and oxygen here. You see, when you fly in the aircraft, when you are at about 30,000 feet, sometimes we have heard the pilot mentions that outside the aircraft is flying, the temperature outside is minus 20 degrees Celsius. And inside we are maintaining the cabin temperature for your comfort at 25 degrees or something like that. Sometimes I've seen outside the thing and there is a lot of bright sunlight. It's bright sunlight but minus 5 degrees, 20 degrees or whatever. Although there is sunlight, there is no temperature there. There is no heat there. That's because it's very rarefied. But back on Earth, when the flight lands here, it's at 25 degrees, 28 degrees or whatever. Because it's actually because of gravity. There is a blanket of atmosphere, and that atmosphere has a right quantity of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Carbon dioxide has the property of capturing heat, the greenhouse effect. The right mixture of carbon dioxide and oxygen and the right gravitational force, which is creating because of that, we are all happily breathing. Did we ever pay a gravity bill? You see, there's only one person who gives and gives and gives and never asks us to pay. In our lives, we have all experienced. That's our father and mother. Did our father come and give us, my dear son, my dear daughter, last 22 years I have been taking care of you, here is the bill, please pay up in the next 1 year. It's only our father who gives and gives and gives and never asks us to pay. In the same way, it's our supreme Father who gives and gives and gives. And we take, and then he never asks us to pay. So I was describing these things to these children. And so there is this spiritual vision, this spiritual perspective about how all these things have come about, what's the purpose behind all these things. Like anything we do, there is a certain purpose. If God created this world, what was the purpose he had in his mind? If God created all of us, what was God's purpose? What was his purpose? What was in his mind for creating us? Can we understand that? Can we know that? Can we align our lives with God's purpose? Can we align our societies with God's purpose? Can we align our nations? Can we align our world? Can we align earth, the way we manage and we go about dealing with earth with God's purpose? These are the subject matter of spirituality. Unfortunately, we all have a certain bias. I'll just close with one example of a bias that I went through, my own personal example. Some years ago when I was in college, a few decades ago, when I was in college, for the first time I read in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describing this world. It is made of panchabhutas. Bhumi rapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara mitiyam me bhinna prakriti. Krishna says this world, there are 8 elements. 5 are bhumi, apaha, nalaha, earth, water, fire. Being Indians, all of us know these things, panchabhutas, right? We have all heard about it, we have grown with it. So when I read Bhagavad Gita and it's saying that this world is made of 5 elements and there are 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ahankara, ego, and all of that, the first thing that came to my mind was, this is very primitive. Look at science. See Gray's Anatomy. You have got endocrine system, cardiovascular system, nervous system, skeletal system, digestive system. This is more sophisticated. Look at Indian systems. This is just Panchabhuta. It's made of 5 elements. And what's this? So this was always bothering me, but and then after a little while, I began to reflect on it, and then it dawned on me. You see, suppose there is a fair going on, and I go to the fair, and I look at all the different things in the fair. And I'm thinking, I should bring my family to this fair. They'll also have a good experience. Then I look at some things and this, my wife will like it. I should bring her this weekend. This one, my children will like this. I must bring my children this weekend. Then I look at something else. This, my mother will like it. She will also, there's something for her also. Then I go home and I tell, I had been to a fair and I saw this thing, that you will like it, this thing, you will like this thing, the children will like it. Let's go this weekend. Right? And they all will get excited. That's good. We'll all go to the fair. So suppose, instead of a normal man with a family wanting to induce the family members to come to the fair, suppose I'm a municipal tax collector and I go to the fair and I look at the fair. There is, here, have they paid the advertisement tax here? Here there's some entertainment going on. Have they paid the entertainment tax here? Here there is something else. Have they paid this tax? So if I'm a tax collector, I'll analyze the fair in terms of the tax collection opportunities. If I'm somebody, I'm trying to induce my family members to come and see the fair, I will analyze the same fair in a different way. So our analysis is dependent on the objective of our analysis. When science is analyzing this body, the purpose of science is if any part of the body breaks down, how to fix it and make it run again. That is the perspective of science. When Vedic philosophy, Indian philosophy is analyzing this world, analyzing this body, the purpose is to understand what is making this body tick. What is that force which is animating this? Like today I'm standing in front of you, I'm speaking, I'm using my vocal cords, right? And that's vibrating, and I'm creating sound vibrations here, and that's falling on your ears. And you're making sense out of it. If I make one grammatical error, you will make out, right? All of us are, how our brains are working. If I pronounce a word wrongly, you will make out. We're so sensitive. All of this is happening. Now, I'm standing before you, talking and all of this. Now, if, for instance, there is a heart attack, suddenly, I can't even stand, I'll just collapse. All of you will say, oh, something happened to him. Right? There is some force that is actually animating this body. And when that force leaves, even though the vocal cords are there, you can pump some air and create some kind of make it vibrate, and maybe it'll create some sound. But it's not the same. There is something that is making this. So what are those things? Even today, science is grappling with that. There are many, many different kinds of versions and different theories. Science also does not have a conclusive, concrete, clear, unambiguous answer to these questions. So there is a lot of wisdom, there is a lot of knowledge. That's very, very our own. We are very fortunate that this knowledge was actually developed and cultivated in our country. And so we can benefit from this knowledge, and we can share this knowledge with the world. We can implement this knowledge, and this knowledge can govern our lives. It's not that I'm giving a call to return to some kind of a poverty-stricken life or something like that. These are all wrong stereotypes that we have been told. Like I gave the example of how when I read Panchabhutas, the kind of, because of my science upbringing and learning, there's a certain kind of a bias. So we have a lot to learn from this spirituality. And this knowledge and science of spirituality was most rigorously explored and understood and developed in our country. And with this knowledge as the foundation, we can build another kind of a civilization, which is very progressive, which takes care of all the necessities of life, and can have a happy life. So there were kings who were suffused with this knowledge. There were merchants who were suffused with this knowledge. There were teachers and professors who were suffused with this knowledge, and they gave a certain blueprint for the organization of the society. So this knowledge has that potency, has that potential. It's not that the spiritual knowledge is meant for the temples alone. It's a knowledge that's meant to influence everyone. Krishna was speaking to whom? To a warrior who later on became a ruler. He was not a sannyasi. He was not a yogi. And after hearing that knowledge, he didn't go to the Himalayas. He used that knowledge to govern his kingdom. So this knowledge has that potential. It has to be understood properly and applied. And there is a lot of value to this. With these few words, I just conclude my talk. Yes. Sure.
So if any question answers, we can take up next 10 minutes. So any questions?
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
I had read it somewhere that we choose our own life. Is it so? And subsequent questions, if we do choose our life, then there has to be a purpose for which we choose that life. And then when we are born, then that purpose is ours, or is it God's purpose?
Okay.
That's my question.
Yes, it's an interesting question about we are born, do we make choices, or things are deterministic? We can alter, we can make changes in our life. Actually, our life is a combination of choices and certain things determined. The example that's given is like a cow tied with a rope to a peg in the ground. So the cow can move around in a circle of that radius of the length of the rope. Within that circle, the effect of the rope doesn't exist at all. But when the cow tries to move beyond the circle, it's pulled back. So our life, when we come into this world, we are in a situation where we make new decisions, and we can alter certain things. There are certain things that is also predestined. So our life situation is a combination of the two. Like, I'll give you one example. If I ask anyone the question, why are you wearing a certain dress? And you will say that, no, I bought this, somebody bought this for me so that it looks good, or some reason like that. So we choose the dress that we wear. In fact, all of you, I'm sure, or some of you, maybe very young, have chosen your spouse. Maybe certain constraints were there, but you chose. The car you drive, the job you have, you chose those. The house you live in, maybe some constraints were there, but you chose that house. So you see how we make choices in our life. We choose our dress, we choose our homes, we choose our profession. Again, with some constraints, we choose our cars we drive, spouses, and all of that. But now I'll ask you a question. Did you choose the parents to whom you will be born? We did not choose. Please. Okay. Now you're bringing a certain philosophical perspective to it. I agree. Yes, it is not accidental. Like, I tell this one very famous story. Please be seated. One very famous story. You will all relate with this. It happened a few years ago. I was reading the Times of India newspaper, and it carried on the top, what's his name? Facebook guy? Mark Zuckerberg, right? Mark Zuckerberg. There was a story that he had a child, and then he and his wife, there was a bundle in his hand, very happy. He and his wife were posing, and then it said, Mark Zuckerberg is worth so many $1 billion. Now he had a child, and so on. Just on that same page of Times of India, at the bottom, there was another picture of a young woman. She's holding on to the hands of somebody who looked like her father. And that father was also holding a bundle in his hand. And they were wading through knee-deep water. And the caption said, this mother gave birth to a child in a maternity home in Chennai. There was floods in Chennai. And the maternity home got so flooded, they told her to go home. And so they were wading through the traffic filled with water and trying to find their home. So look at the contrast. One child is born in California in a family with billions of dollars. So another child is born in Chennai whose mother and father cannot even afford simple, basic maternal care. Now, of course, we give this example. The thing is that it's not arbitrary. There is a certain law behind all of this. The way we are born, in a certain family, all of that. There is a certain law behind that's operating. But we are not so, from a modern scientific point of view, that law is not understood or appreciated. Right? So in that sense, yes, there is a definite law that says that somebody is born in a certain family, someone is born in a certain... the skin color, of course, the skin color should not matter. I hope my children will grow up in a society where the skin color does not matter, but the merit of the person matters. Something like that. Martin Luther King said something like that. But even in America, it matters today. Supposedly a very civilized and educated society. Even in that society, skin color seems to matter. So skin color we did not choose. The gender, did we choose? Did we tick a box? Do you want to be born as a boy or a girl? Did we tick that box? None of us did. So there are certain things which are determined. Now the question is, what determines these things? And there is a law behind it. And I won't go into those aspects of the thing. That's one of the concepts in the Bhagavad Gita that I was referring. But there's a very interesting reasoning behind these concepts, these laws, and how to appreciate and how to understand. I'll not go into that today. So like that.
Any last question? We can take just one more question.
Please.
Sure. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just want to know why this case of SBNR is evolving so much in despite of having so much rich religion throughout the world. But then the cases are evolving much more higher now. Why do you think, what's the key reason for it?
Yeah. I would think there are multiple, at least a few reasons maybe. One reason is that, like the American Army man I mentioned, that maybe there are reasons that they, again, because of a wrong narrative, that all the wars are attributed to religions. I would say that it's an unfair analysis, because it is not because of religion, it is because of the misunderstanding of religion that has led to wars. If you see the enormous solace and tranquility and meaning and purpose that religion has brought to many people, it more than counters the ill effects of religion. Again, it is not ill effect of religion, it is the ill effect of the misunderstanding of religion. The second reason I would think is, as custodians of knowledge, religious knowledge, custodians of spirituality, people who practice and profess and teach religion are expected to have very high standards of morality and ethics. It's a fact that our profession has had some very bad examples. And because of that, people have become, there's a certain kind of, what's all this? These people talk about all these big things, after he goes, we don't know what he's doing. So yes, that's a fact. It has happened. You cannot deny that. So we should learn from good practices from the for-profit world, I would say, to the religious organizations. Our organization should be more transparent. Our organization should be publicly accountable, so that both morally, financially, ethically, we are more accountable to the society, because we are custodians of this knowledge. So younger generation have become very cynical and skeptical about these kind of things. So I think these are some of the complex sociological issues that have caused that kind of a SBNR reaction in the world.
Thank you, Speaker Sir. It was very insightful. Now may I request Professor Madhavan Sir to give some closing notes.
Prabhuji, Chanchalpati Dasa, and the genuine seekers of this knowledge. After we have very good food, we should not spoil the taste with something else. So to honor that spirit, I'm not going to talk much. I just want to make only one observation. Every one of us have a certain riddle to solve for ourselves. And the riddle is a triangle of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. We want to know what is the connection between these three. In a way, spirituality is that. How do you connect these three? There's a Jiva, an individual. There's a Jagat, there's something around me. Today, at this point in time, that something is here. And there is a force of transcendence. I think Prabhuji, in about an hour and 10 minutes, so beautifully he gave us a very nice perspective of this, connecting these three edges of the triangle, and I think that's what spirituality is all about. We are extremely blessed to have this. I just want to add only one more sentence. I think the Indian notion of spirituality puts a great emphasis on who than how and what. I keep hearing this, I also keep making this observation. If only Newton asked who fell the apple, apple fell. And instead of how it fell, he asked how the apple fell. Prabhuji gave an example of Einstein and all that, so I remembered this. So since Newton asked how the apple fell, he became a scientist. If only Newton chose to ask who fell the apple, he would have become a Brahmajnani. Because that is what spirituality is. There's a lot of self-interest. This who is a very profound question in life. When events happen in life, we bother too much about how and why and all that. Please bother about who, then you become spiritual. I think he brought it so nicely. I don't think I can put it in any better way. I must thank our PGPM students here. They have done a wonderful job of organizing this. And we are indeed privileged and blessed to have Prabhuji here. So on behalf of the IAMB community, let me also express our sincere gratitude. I know he's very busy, he travels a lot. Akshay Patra is such a wonderful, this is the only organization which I think presents the books of accounts on 3rd April or 2nd April, I do not know, and get an award also for that. The professionalism that he talked about is what they actually practice. They are very busy people, but it is out of their kindness and keen desire to share this knowledge. Prabhuji has come here. Thank you for all that. Thank you.
So now I request Professor Sir to please felicitate our speaker with the Angavastram. Tulsi plant. So we have a small prasadam arrangement outside, and that would be we'd be opening for interaction. There are a lot of senior personnel here with a lot of spirituality background. Students, please feel free to interact, have your questions clarified. And maybe before we close, I also request our PGPM chairperson, Sri Gopal sir, just to say few words or thanks notes, kind of a closing note, please, sir.
Hare Krishna. I think I must remind you the logo of our institute, Tejasvina Vaditamastu. I think all of you today must be experiencing that. There's no better way. And when Professor Mahadevan's elective came and the student community came to do the event, I was very happy. And it's a student-created event. May I request you to give a big hand to them. The inspiration, of course, is Professor Mahadevan, the teachings, but that also talks about Tejasvina Vaditamastu. I think ISKCON and Prabhu Chanchalapatiji, we can't ever be thanking you enough. You are doing so much for the nation, but our institute is blessed. We are all blessed that your presence is here, along with your Prabhuji's sannyasis here. I also want to thank Professor Mahadevan, because one of the things we have started doing last couple of years is the spirituality through the courses he has been teaching. Started as a discourse freely. I came, attended, you may not remember, with a couple of my friends 10-15 years back. Now it's become a very popular course among MBA students, to the extent that Sandeep requested and Professor Mahadevan had to specially do for this group who are mid-career professionals. Just want you to know they're doing very well in career, but to see the seekings, you said it's not, spirituality is not dying, these people are very eager, and all of them took the elective without any. So that's also, spirituality is relevant as they're reinventing themselves. So that's what the mid-career MBA program is. It enables people from different spheres of life to come. Earlier it was PGACM, now it is PGPM. I'm not marketing the program, I'm saying these people are re-entering to reinvent themselves, and nobody other than Prabhuji could have re-inspired them to recreate a life of a SCUF. So a lot of thanks to the students. I just want to also tell that you see the support staff who are there. You know, admission interviews are going on, a lot of activities in the institute. We are a number one institute, a lot of activities, no time. Professor Mahadevan doesn't have time, nobody has time. CEO is here. So all the support is there to make you all experience this Tejasvina Vaditamastu, the evolution. Finally, I'll want to end with, I think, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. I want to end with a sloka, which is very time immemorial for our country. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani paschantu, ma kasya dukha bhavet. So this world, let it be a better world. That's what Prabhuji is trying to inspire. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gopal sir. Just one request from student side also, like with the popularity of this course, MPPG, now onwards it should be part of the core course. So with that, I think we are coming to a close of this wonderful auspicious session. So prasadams are outside. Please have this interaction more meaningful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So successfully we have finished our topic, spirituality and leadership. So now I would not speak much today. I want your understanding and your points which you want to share, what the point which strike you very much and which you are going to follow in your life. Any kind of striking point which has moved you and you're going to really benefit from that point. So you want to share, you can openly share. Yes. So I will give you now open chance. All of you can come and speak. Acha, by the chat box already somebody had posted, like Shriza Akepati, qualities of leadership, how spirituality and science are connected, the view of different professors about science and God, the Vedic analysis of life. There is something more than morals, ethics, and dharma. From where here we enter into the Vedantic perspective of life. How should one lead a balanced life to live responsible social life? Very nicely you have curated and given the understanding of our class. Very good. Briz Mohan, perspective and analysis after each of analysis affect each other. Very good. So yes, somebody was about to ask. You can ask or speak. Saurabh.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
The
Krishna.
point which struck me the lot was that Prabhuji has said that the knowledge which we are learning, that is from the Bhagavad Gita, it is not for transforming us to become the sannyasi. It is for utilizing it in our profession, which will be leading in the future.
Yes. So Bhagavad Gita teaching should be understood very nicely under the guidance of a person who has already learned it. Then only we can. Most importantly, yesterday I was talking with somebody. So that guy said that I am reading Bhagavad Gita, but I don't require somebody else's help and support, because anyway Bhagavad Gita I have, so I will read and understand by myself. This is the greatest misunderstanding among us. Even basic understanding we don't have about our science, maths. We need a guidance to understand basic things in maths, physics, chemistry. That's how we join coaching, and today we are in some institutes. So just to understand small concepts in maths, physics, chemistry, we need a guidance. So what do you think about the purpose of life, this universe, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, which is Raj Vidya, Raj Ruya, most confidential knowledge? Can you understand by your own? Never, not at all possible. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita teaching is called open secret. The book is there to you. You can have the copy of book, and you can turn over the pages also, but you cannot capture the teaching what Krishna has given. You require a person who has practiced it and who has understood it, and he's practicing this knowledge in his day-to-day basis. And that is devotees only. Devotees can teach you, they can guide you, they can inspire you, and at right time, in different situations, circumstances, how to implement the teaching, what teaching should be implemented. All these things we can understand by a devotee only. Devotee means a devotee of Krishna who is following the principles of Bhagavad Gita. And then another person said, Prabhuji, you are not very much aligned with Bhagavad Gita. I was surprised. Our discussion is based on Bhagavad Gita only. But we'll very soon start our Bhagavad Gita discourse also, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. Now we have just created our foundation. We are just trying to understand what is the basic idea about this world, about me, about all these things. Arjuna understood Bhagavad Gita because Arjuna's position is already, he is friend of Krishna, he is already very spiritual. He has got all the training, basic training, everything is there with Arjuna. Therefore, when Krishna spoke, he understood. But in our case, we are not having all those things. We are not, we have doubting concepts. We are very skeptical. We are doubtful. We have demons of misunderstanding in our consciousness, haunting always. Kaise hua? What is this Vedas? Kaise main malum hai Atma hu? So basic understanding, if we don't have, then Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we cannot appreciate, and we cannot understand also. So before starting, very soon we are going to launch again the Bhagavad Gita regular study, day-to-day basis. Every day we'll have half an hour class on Bhagavad Gita. Every sloka, chapter by chapter, will be covering. So before that, I have planned to take all the basic concepts. Like today, the question was asked with Prabhuji that is our life destined, or already, somebody has crafted it. So then Prabhu gave a wonderful example, which we have already discussed, that cow tied with a rope, then cow is free to move in its circle. So in its circle, it is free. There is no force acting upon it. But the moment cow tries to go out of the circle, it is immediately pulled back. So like this, when we discuss this concept and all these things, these are vocabulary of Bhagavad Gita. Just like when you try to read you try to understand maths or physics or anything, then before going to the higher understanding, you get first basic understanding. First you learn the vocabulary, first you learn the formulas, first you learn the suppose in chemistry you want to learn this reaction and all. So before understanding all the very complicated complex reaction, you understand what is atom, what is periodic table, what is Helena ki Rab se Faryad, what is S block, P block, D block, F block, what is the how many electrons are there in outer shell of S block, P block. So all these basic concepts you understand, then you go into the reaction, you go into the mechanism of reaction, how hydrogen was broken from here and got connected with that atom. All these things we only understand when we have our basics. Therefore, concepts of physics, basic of by S.C. Verma. So it is very, very important to have basic understanding about life, about all those things which we keep on asking and nobody is there to answer. What is happening around us? क्यों अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा होता है, बुरे लोगों के साथ अच्छा हो जाता है? People are very, very bekar. They have all bad qualities, but they are breaking all the regulative principles in drinking, smoking, gambling, having all illicit affairs, but still they are flourishing in their life. But look at me, I am such a nice person, having good qualities, nice-hearted person, but still I am suffering, struggling with my career. So when we understand all these basic qualities, then we can appreciate the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And yes, Bhagavad Gita will give you a larger picture, a grand purpose of the creation, about yourself, about life. Everything will be given to you. And by understanding Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure you will enjoy it. अभी तो भगवद गीता का हमने बेसिक थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंड किया है, like identity. That identity, the first statement instruction of Krishna we have just discussed. There are so many things, so many concepts yet to be explored. We'll understand those concepts are also very, very important. We'll discuss that. So we are not in hurry. Don't, and you also don't be hurry. Very slowly, systematically we'll go. Just like it takes 18 hours, 16 years for us to get placement and job. Fine. We are studying what for? We are having in this education system to get a job finally. Suppose somebody is given job in 10th standard, he will not desire to read, he will not desire to continue from 11th, 12th. He is now happy. 10th standard, he has got good, nice job. So the purpose of education system is to get a job. And that you get after so many years of struggle, 16 years, 18 years. So in the same way here, purpose is, that goal is transcendental, goal is very, very nectarian. The end result is going to be very, very fabulous, very attractive, very mesmerizing. So in order to achieve that goal, we should be little patient and keep moving with patience and enthusiasm and determination. These three qualities are very much important. These three qualities are needed always in any field. Enthusiasm, patience, and determination. Utsah, Nishchayat, and Dharya. So these three qualities you should always have in materialistic life and in spirituality also. So have these three qualities, and then we'll move forward. We'll be moving towards the teachings of Bhagavad Gita very soon, and explore the new dimension of life, new dimension of understanding, and finally we'll establish the highest understanding. Okay, so anybody wants to speak some point, you can speak, or else we'll close. Today I want to have an individual discussion with Ayush Munot. So Ayush, you can be there, and others, if you have anything to say or comment, you can speak, or else you can continue. Thank you very much. Anybody wants to add some point or speak some point?
Prabhuji, I want to ask the question that last day I asked, that difference
Spirituality
between
and religion.
and religion. Yes.
So actually, religion means the instructions of God. The instructions of God is called religion, dharma. And this Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, this is not actually dharma. This is man-made, man-created dharma. These are not dharma. The original dharma is Sanatan dharma. Sanatan dharma means which is given by God. The instructions which are given by God, that is called dharma. And originally there was only one dharma, that is called Sanatan dharma. We all are eternally related to Krishna. Sanatan means eternal. So we all are eternally related to Krishna. But in recent times, when different classes of people started emerging out, they were not following the Vedic culture, Vedic lifestyle. So Lord, being very merciful, gave some different kind of understanding to them, like Christianity, like Quran. So because they are not following Vedic culture, Vedic lifestyle, and in fact, in our Vedic understanding, society is divided into 4 classes: Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And after Shudra, there are many other classes, but they are not counted as civilized man. They are uncivilized, like Chandala, Kirat, Huran, Pulinda. So there are so many other people, even they are not up to the point of Shudra also. They are not having even the quality of Shudra. So they are outcasted, they are uncivilized people. So our Vedic culture, they did not, so such kind of people, they don't follow our Vedic culture, Vedic lifestyle. So even to them also, to bring to a certain platform of human being, at least have a good human feelings, human behavior, good lifestyle. Forget about higher purpose of life, at least basic understanding you should have. So for them, Lord is because for everyone. So Lord has purpose for everybody. Lord wants everybody to get benefited. Why he has created this world? What is the purpose? So he wants everybody to understand. But now these people, they have become uncivilized. They don't want to accept the Vedic understanding, because Vedic lifestyle is, meant for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now these people, they are not fitting in any class. They are uncivilized, totally beyond fifth class, sixth class, seventh class. So even to them also Lord gave some understanding. So if you see this Christianity and this Quran, Islam, these knowledge were meant to these class of people. They were completely uncivilized, not having proper etiquette, not having good understanding. Like, I'm not saying by myself, we are very great Hindus. Hindu term, first of all, is not there in our scriptures. There is only Sanatan Dharma. So we are followers of Sanatan culture. But in Christianity itself, Lord Jesus Christ says that thou shall not kill, thou shall not indulge into adultery with neighbor's wife, thou shall not steal. So these are all what? Basic instructions. And that means they were all indulging into all these mischievous activity. They were killing the animals, they were indulging into adultery with neighbor's wife and all those things, and they were indulging in burglary. Suppose if you are asked, don't do this, that means you are doing this, therefore you are asked not to do that. So these classes of people were given this knowledge. So Christianity was given to them, those who were completely uncivilized, not having even basic understanding about life. एक चलो बेसिक कुछ प्रिंसिपल भी होना चाहिए लाइफ में, वही नहीं था. सो उनको ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग देने के लिए ये था. सो ऐसा नहीं कि उनको चलो वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग दे दिया, दैट इज एनफ. तो एटलीस्ट फॉलो दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, देन come to a certain level, then from there you can have access to the Sanatan culture, because it requires certain level of good consciousness, good understanding. Then only you can understand and fathom. Otherwise it becomes, you will think, what is this nonsense? So, and same thing with Islam also. It was given to all those who were living in desert and all those places. So to them this knowledge was given. If you read the real Quran, real teachings of Paigambar, nowhere it is written that you kill the animals and extensively you eat that. No, it was situational based. If situation is like that, nothing is there to eat, then you can have. But now it has become fashion, and it is completely misunderstood and diluted. The real teaching is diluted. Nobody is following real Christianity. Nobody is following real Islamic understanding. So these are all man-made religion. These are all man-made religion. We have created it. But original dharma is Sanatan Dharma, the instructions of God. And this is called religion. Dharma means when we follow the instructions of God, without any change, without any dilution or addition, without any adulteration, that is called dharma. And spirituality is when you connect yourself with God. You understand you are not this body, you are beyond this body, you are a spirit soul, and you have a direct relationship with Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and I have to develop my relationship and understanding with him. So then this becomes spirituality. Spirituality means it's more of spiritual platform. Religion means, okay, you follow some religious codes and conduct, you be happy here in this material world. Like you do this yajna to get this benefit. If you don't have son, then you follow this vrata, this sacrifice, then you'll get a son. You're not getting placement, you follow this vrata, this sacrifice, this fasting, you'll get very quickly a job. You are not getting married, then you follow this vrata, you'll get married. Like this, these are all religious codes, rituals given in our Shastra scriptures. So these are somewhat called dharma. Dharma, then you will get artha, kama, then finally it comes to moksha, liberation. But spirituality is more of connected to spirit. And you are directly come to the platform that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. And all are spirit soul. Everybody is direct spirit soul, that is Krishna, and we have to work in that direction. So that's how spirituality brings a common understanding, common purpose in everyone's life. Therefore, it aligns everything, and everything is aligned. If suppose everybody becomes spiritual, then there will be no class, nothing. And because of misunderstanding of, and if being a religious also, no class will be there. But if you follow your religion. But now today people, in the name of religion, they are following concocted religion. Therefore, I am thinking that I am Hindu, and you are thinking I'm Muslim, so let us fight. But when you come to spiritual platform, then you think, oh, I'm also soul, he's also soul. Then there is no fight because we all belong to God, and ultimate purpose is to love God. So therefore, there is no fight. So therefore, people are, because anyway misunderstanding have come about in our society about religion. So therefore, they try to come. They pose themselves as spiritual. I am spiritual, not religious. Okay, then Saurabh,
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Thank you.
this is the difference. But actually, in one sense, if we look our original dharma, Sanatan Dharma, then Sanatan Dharma is actually, there is no difference between dharma and spirituality. If we talk about our Sanatan Dharma. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. So I am meeting with everybody individually on daily basis. So rest others, those who are not, I have not yet met, I will meet to everybody. So when your turn will come, I will tell you. So all of you rest can continue, move. And today I will meet to Ayush. So Ayush will be there and rest can continue.